Christian from Zbigniew. What do you think about Mr. Mentzer's HIIT system? Did I say his name right, I hope?
Yeah.
Yep. Jerome and I like it because basically he kind of reversed engineered training and recovery to its simplest form. People like Arnold came about back in the day and they sort of said, train hard, do lots and lots and train twice a day and do, I don't know, I think was it like a push-pull legs twice a week? Whatever it was, whatever a split was, it was doing like 6 sessions a week. I mean, it'd be like running in the morning and cycling and all sorts of things. And I was like, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But there's no element of tracking, like no strength progression. We can always add in more volume, but it doesn't necessarily facilitate more muscle because if, for example, we're doing 10 sets for a given body part, one session, we're not going to get exponentially more results by doing 11. There's a recovery capacity that we have as individuals. Mike Mentzer kind of explains that once we supersede that or exceed that capacity to recover, we won't get more results. So he minimalizes the training. What is the minimal effective dose of volume, intensity, whatever it is, intensifiers that we can use to trigger the muscular hypertrophy adaptation response? Then we work from there. So that's how people like Jerome, who's doing like five sets of workout 3 times a week or something.
Yeah, right about
there.
And 5 to 6 sets tops per workout and 1 to 3 sessions a week, depending on my schedule.
Yeah. However, the problem is there's limitations to it.
Yep.
Not that the program itself is weak, but people might not understand their own measures of recovery very well. So, for example, someone might do that program. They might not understand, okay, I should have actually given it an extra day or two. Like Jerome mentioned earlier, we know strength correlates with muscular hypertrophy pretty closely. We know if we're getting stronger, we're probably getting bigger. Getting bigger is hard to recognize without having a DEXA scan every single workout every week. We know getting bigger, more muscular takes time to almost consolidate. So it's something hard to track. But the measurement we do have, which is quite effective, is strength. So we're looking at the strength metric. So are we getting stronger from workout A to workout B? Then what is the minimal amount we have to do to get to that point? If we're exceeding that amount, we're just cutting into recovery, which makes everything a lot harder. But Mike Mentzer's HIIT system is, you can effectively watch like an hour and a half of him just talking about it on YouTube on, I think it's John Little's channel that Jerome kindly showed me the other day. And he just explains it very well. And it kind of makes sense when you listen to it. It's like, yeah, people probably have been doing it wrong for a long time. The caveat is you have to know how to train hard. So when you're training like this, it's very hard for me as a coach to promote or put someone on this plan without seeing how they train. Because if they're going to do 4 sets and they're 4 rubbish sets, they're not to complete muscular failure, they're not going to get that adaptive response. So I err on the side of caution, sort of say train, everyone that's seen a plan from me say, train to muscular failure or very close to. Here's an example of a video where I train pretty much close to it using technical muscular failure, I call it. People can watch that and say, am I hitting this or not? No. All right. Well, you're going to be more on a baseline kind of almost like generic workout where you might be doing more volume to stimulate the muscle growth, but it's never quite perfect. So what I say to clients is feedback what you're doing in the gym to me. Tell me how you're feeling. Do you feel hungry? Do you feel tired? Are your joints aching? These are all things that I'd listen to and say, okay, this is what you need to do from here. But part of the feedback that I find difficulty getting is the video side of it. So the critical analysis of the video. The way we build muscle in bodybuilding is we train. The way Usain Bolt would get faster is he'd run. He'd have a sports performance scientist or a coach look at him running in the gym, in the track, whatever it was, and say, okay, you need to work on your sprint start, your form, your posture. We need more ballistic strength. Maybe there's a certain part of the race you need to improve upon. The same is true when you're trying to build strength to build muscle. You need to identify the weak point in your training. And that's why I always say to people, show me your training. But I think I've probably had 2 people in the last 4 months, other than Sophie, that I coached that show me training footage of any kind. So that's why it's very hard for me to really nail down the perfect training system for the person. But, we can't always film ourselves in the gym. It's quite tricky, and there's people running around. It's quite a personal kind of thing. So.
Yeah, some people don't like to. I know that when I first filmed one of my sets, even though I worked out by myself, well, except the kids, nobody was looking at me filming myself, but I still felt so awkward doing it. And I don't know why, because it's, you can't keep track of what you're doing, making sure the form's correct. You can't kind of analyze your workout if you don't record it. And that was by myself, do you know what I mean? Let alone in a public gym where you've got people walking in and out and through the camera shot.
Jerome's probably the best person to speak about Mr. Mike Mentzer's HIIT system. He's probably the most researched person. He's probably watched his videos on loop and playback about 1,000 times over in the last week. So Jerome's gonna take it away.
Yeah, Mike. I give Mike a lot of credit. I kind of say that he posthumously probably saved my life. I started training heavy duty years ago, 2013, 2014, a little bit after my daughter was born, because it was literally the only training routine that I had time to try. Before then, I was training 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 45 to 60 minutes of workout, and I would do 6 to 9 total sets per body part. My schedule at the time was quite busy, so I started training heavy duty, and I found very quickly that while I was quite strong before, that I was continuing to build strength, and I had easily eclipsed what were my previous best lifts, despite exercising for a fraction of the time. I'm a big proponent of a lot of the principles of heavy duty, but the caveat needs to be said that any routine that Mike or anyone in like the Body by Science camp, or if I gave someone a routine or if Jonathan gave someone a routine, that's a starting point. That's the skeleton to hang the meat on, and then based on how somebody's body responds, their personal preferences, and their execution of those movements, then things need to be personalized and adjusted over time. So the reason I stopped training heavy duty is I was getting so strong on my bench squat and my deadlift that I had to look at those numbers and say there's a certain amount of risk to some of these movements. A deadlift can be a really positive, productive movement, but if you're deadlifting 500 plus pounds consistently, the slightest breach of form and you could be in chronic pain for the rest of your life. So I started looking into other ways using those high intensity training principles. Are there safer ways to continue to reap the strength and hypertrophy benefits of exercise, but do so in a way where I don't have to worry about screwing up my lower back for the rest of my life? So heavy duty is still a subset of high intensity training. And as long as you're in training, with enough intensity, as long as you're training progressively and then giving your body in terms of what it needs for rest and recovery and supplementing that with a decent diet, you'll get results pretty much no matter how you train. You just need to adhere to those principles.
Yeah, that's good advice. It's the old safety element, isn't it, of training?
Yeah.
We kind of, the more we put in, the more we get out. But also the higher the risk of injury.
Yep.
That's why people like Jerome and myself like machines. I can drop a weight, train maximally, and not die.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying this a lot recently. I really want to get the point across. You don't have to do free weights.
No.